People on the Block is all about people working and the work they do. Hi guys, this is Mimi with People on the Block, and today we have a special guest, Nan Blassingame. Hi Nan, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me today.
All right, let's go with the first question that every time that I have to ask. What is your background? Could you tell us a little bit, what was your childhood like, something like that?
Yes, I'm from Oklahoma, Hammond, Oklahoma, a very small town. I say about 500 people. It's a tiny community. And I'm a member of the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes of Oklahoma. I grew up going to powwows, dancing at the powwow since I was 2 years old. And here I am today.
Question number 2 for Nan. How did you become interested in fashion?
I feel like it was an accident. I started making my own dresses for the powwows for maybe 15 years. That's all I made was outfits for powwows, nothing else. And there was the Intercultural Fashion Show coming up in Austin, Texas. And I asked if they've ever had a Native American designer, and she said no. She called me the very next morning and said, "You have to be on my show. We have never had a Native American designer." So I entered in promotion of the AustinPowWow, bring awareness. So we had dancers in there, and I made a collection. And with that very first fashion show, I had an interview from Art Today London magazine. That's how I started. And I thought I would only do that show and no others.
Did you do back then in Oklahoma?
No, I didn't start until 2018.
Oh, 2018, recently.
Yes.
Not very long time.
I didn't know how to sew regular clothes. I only sewed powwow outfits, the jingle dresses. That was my main reason for ever wanting to learn how to sew, was to make my own jingle dresses.
And did you learn from your family, or your community, or you just start from like, I want to do this, I want to make my own clothes?
My aunt used to make all of our clothes, me and all my cousins' outfits for the powwows, so I didn't want to wait in line. I'm like, I want my dress now, And so I begged her to show me how to make the dress, and she would say, "You're not ready, you're not ready." And finally she said, "I'm going to show you one time," and that's it. And I learned in that one time. And but I did learn to sew in home economics back when I was 14.
Question number 3. How did you find inspiration on fashion designs?
It started for me, I didn't see very many of our Native people on the runways. I mean, they were, I noticed Canada seems to be a little bit ahead of us. And there was a lot of designers there. I had only heard of a few, and I did give them a shout out in my first magazine interview. I just feel that's where I wanted to take up space on the runway too, show that Native Americans can do that too, and we can put our designs out there and make them contemporary and turn them into formals and things like that. I cannot draw a stick figure, so everyone asks, where I get if I do my drafts and things like that. I cannot draw, so I just pin them onto the mannequin and start coming up with ideas from there. Sometimes I see a fabric and I know what style of dress I would want to make with that fabric.
And is there any traditional dress or style that Native American, for example, you always stitch and have some beads going on, so is it anything like fundamental for basic fashion of Native American that, you know, it's just symbolic for the design.
Yes, what everyone thinks of us when they think of us is leather, beads, you know, things like that. We do incorporate that into some of our fashions. Elk teeth were a staple back in the long ago. And so they have material printed with the elk teeth on there. So I have made outfits like that, a contemporary, like a blazer type of look.
And you're gonna show us, right?
Yes, I am.
Before, Nan, this is a silly question. Do you any other arts besides, you know, any other arts or craft besides fashion?
Yes, I do. Other than making the powwow outfits, the fashions, we do beading, just any type of beading and sewing. I have a silhouette cameo with a vinyl cutting machine that we have incorporated tribal designs to. And I just do all kinds of crafts. I am in over my head and ideas of different crafts.
For example, the earrings.
These earrings are made by my husband, and they are porcupine quills. So this was our first form of decor before we traded for the beads with the Czech Republic in the late 1800s. So the leather was adorned with quill work, and a lot of the time the colors were naturally dyed from grasses, berries, flowers, things like that to make these colors. But now we have red dye and industrial dyes that we can use to make beautiful colors for the porcupine quills.
Very interesting. And you mentioned about the class that you have it here. For example, like weekly classes that you guys doing as well.
Yes, I am the creative director for the Native American Culture Center in Austin, Texas. We put on the largest one-day powwow in Texas here in Austin. And we get together and have Workshop Wednesday. Every Wednesday we teach sewing, beading, anything related to our culture. It all leads up to the powwow. We are getting our skirts ready, our outfits, what we want to wear the day of. We're just, we only have 5 left. 5 Wednesdays until the powwow, so it's like crunch time. It's really like a Project Runway, but indigenous.
Question number 5. What advice would you give it to someone who wants to become a fashion designer, Nan?
I would say practice. Just keep practicing. Don't give up if you can't thread your needle for your sewing machine the first time or make a bobbin. It takes practice and determination, dedication to do the sewing part. Just keep going. We do have an 11-year-old young girl who has done an amazing job already. She's our little boss. She tells us what colors would go good. I can see her becoming a designer someday.
That's amazing. Any other example from your experience lately?
We find that sewing is so healing. A lot of anxiety, depression, things like that was instilled in our DNA type, you know, from the past traumas. It has passed down from generation to generation, but we find that sewing and beading is so healing. You don't have time to think about your anxiety when you're counting beads or picking out ribbon colors for your skirts. You're in the moment and focused. We even have another one that says it helps with her postpartum depression from having a baby. And she tells us, you know, this is healing for me, you know. Just coming together as a community is so much better. Just having 3 or 4 people pick out the colors together for their skirts, and it just works as a community. I'm so glad we have this here in Austin. And
you think it's a real therapeutic process?
It is so therapeutic. It is for me. I mean, sewing is just, I could sew every single day. I just love sewing.
Hi, Nan. Question number 6. How do you deal with the difficulties through the fashion events or any general problems?
It's hard because I'm a very laid back person. I'm not picky about what music is going to be playing or anything like that. I feel like it's about the pictures. Those are the memories you're making. I want good pictures of every single model, and that's mainly, I was told that at a fashion show in California. They're like, you are so easy to work with, because I wasn't like, oh, it's got to be this song, it's going to make the moment. To me, it's the photos that are going to make the moment.
Mm-hmm. And has it been anything that unexpected, for example, your clothes or you missing something during the fashion show? How do you deal with that?
Yes, when we were in New York, we forgot the jingle dress, and with my family who was driving up there, so they barely made it maybe 10 minutes before we were going down the runway. But I was like, okay, well, if it doesn't make it, it's not meant to be. It's not meant to be, or it is. If I don't finish a dress before that fashion show, it'll be in the next fashion show. I'm just so laid back about sharing my sewing and my designs. So I'm too laid back sometimes. I make everyone else panic for me. My husband especially.
All right, question number 7 for Nan. Where would you like to take your fashion design in the future?
I would like to take him to more shows, more of our Native American fashion shows, maybe even in Canada, just to be a part of my Native community who are already in the fashion industry as well. Places like that, maybe across the big waters, to Paris, London, I don't know, just anywhere I'm invited, I will go.
All right, last but not least, I have some question for you. What is going to be next?
Well, November is Native American Heritage Month. We run the AustinPowWow. We have a dance group. We go into schools, libraries, festivals leading up to the powwow, talking about this is a small scale version of what you'll see if you come out to the powwow. And the weekend before the powwow, November 15th and 16th, we will be part of the East Austin studio tours right here in this area. We'll have artists here selling their arts. November 8th, I have a fashion show in San Antonio. So we are very busy. We will be flying to Portales, New Mexico. They want to see my fashions. So they're having me come out at the beginning of the month. So it's busy, busy, busy from November 1st through November 22nd.
How about anything in December?
No, not anything in December. We're finished for that. We're kind of off December to recuperate. We start again in January, planning the powwow for 2026.
All right, Nan, what's your plugins for social media?
We have NAN, or N_A Notions is my Instagram. Native American Notions, that's my name. I mean, NAN, Native American Notions, that's where I came up with my name, is my middle name, Nan. And we have the AustinPowWow, www.austinpowwow.net. I don't have a personal website. Everyone is shocked by that, but I can barely keep up with everything that I'm doing. So yes, that's where you can find us. You can find the AustinPowWow too on social media.
Don't forget to check out.
Welcome to the Native American Cultural Center. A vibrant and diverse Native American and indigenous urban community hub in Central Texas. Hosting the AustinPowWow for 33 years, bringing in over $300,000 in cultural tourism to Central Texas. cultural education center with free family-friendly workshops and programs. Sewing and making powwow regalia for all ages. Supporting more than 100 native artisans, promoting more than 300 dancers and singers. Preserving cultural traditions, passing down the legacy from our elders to the generations to come.
If you want to be on People on the Block, drop us an email.